Hey everyone, welcome to CresTV, your regular roundup of all things UC, AV, and what's going on in the industry. And we're absolutely talking about the industry and culture today. I do many presentations, talk to many customers, and hear about competitors. And the most misused and overused term at the moment is the word hybrid. Could mean anything. So we're going to talk about hybrid heaven and hybrid hell on today's show. And I have a very special guest joining me today, Rebecca Cullum. We actually used to work together. We should probably say a years on it because it will age us. But Rebecca, you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now.
So we did indeed used to work together. I've been working in the tech and telecoms for the last 20 years. The last 8 years of that, I have been working specifically with leadership teams, looking at effectiveness, team performance, and culture. And what I'm doing now is I am a leadership and culture consultant, and my focus is on building future-focused and innovative teams. So helping teams to be future-proof, to be ready for the future, to be dealing with all the challenges that come up right now so that they're in a good place with the right behaviours and the right mindset for the future.
Everyone is talking about this at the moment. It is the hot button.
Yeah.
And I think there's one word in, again, we hate hybrid, but the one word is culture. It's all about culture, and it's all about creating the culture to, give the employees the tools and the environments that they need to be able to thrive. I mean, one of the things and one of the huge topics that is on every news channel and everywhere in the UC space is around this kind of remote working, return to work, new normal. I know you hate that word, that term. Talk to us about, is it an or, is it an and? What are the best practices? And what are you talking to customers about and hearing from customers around this whole kind of back to work, staying at home, and where we should be going?
Yeah, so a combination of what I'm hearing from clients and also what's in the news all the time about the big name organisations that are calling their people back into the office, however many days a week, is that I think no one would deny there's benefits to hybrid remote working, to mixing up your week, finding a balance between time in the office and time at home. But it feels really hard. And I think there's a few clear issues that I can see with that. So it feels hard because we are in a new time and new expectations. We've all come out of COVID, we've all got a bit of PTSD from that, but we are we're wanting to do things differently. We've found a different way of doing things, and most people want to take that forward. So managers and leaders are finding that a bit rocky, a bit tricky. And I think some of the reasons that is because they're trying to manage and lead, or we are trying to manage and lead in the same way that we did in 2019. The world is very different, but we have all of our experience is based on what we've done over the last 10, 20 years of our careers and how we've learned to be a manager or a leader. But that was a different time and needed a different approach. So my argument is that we need to be thinking about, so how do we manage and lead our teams now based on this new environment that we found ourselves in? One of the other things is, I don't need to look enough about it. You'll know when we all went into lockdown in 2020, most organisations, I know the one I was part of at the time, suddenly put loads of stuff in your diary. So there'd be more one-to-ones with your manager, there'd be the CEO doing a video call every week, you'd be your head of department doing a video call every week. There was all this stuff to help people feel engaged and motivated and on this journey. We're all in it together, is that kind of attitude. And I think we've gone back into this new normal, and a lot of that has gone away. We're just expecting people to get on with it, and I think that's one of the issues that I'll talk about again in a minute, but that might be causing one of the kind of the rockiness that we're experiencing. And then the third thing is this feeling of fear. It's uncertain. We're moving towards something new. There's a feeling that we're kind of on the cusp of maybe a really radically new way of working. Things are changing, things are evolving, and that brings with it insecurity and vulnerability. It's not what we're used to. It's not comfortable. Change is never
Like change.
I don't. No, never comfortable. So a lot of the knee-jerk reaction that I feel is happening is acting out of fear and saying, okay, let's go back to what we know. What we know is having people in the office where we can see them and we know what's going on. And my feeling is we should never go back. If we're already in it, there's a momentum, we're already moving forward, we're aiming towards new exciting things. Let's keep going that way and see what might come out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the old days of clocking in cards, and the boss making sure that, you are there. And, if he can't see you visually in front of his eyes, or,
Yeah.
sitting in his glass room and looking at his rows and rows of employees out there, all beavering away on their laptops or computers, it brings that kind of fear, as you say, and paranoia of, are they actually working? Are they sitting at home? What's this whole working in a coffee shop business all about? Surely they can't work and drink coffee in Starbucks at the same time. I mean, where are we going wrong with this? What are the reasons behind these challenges that you're seeing?
So he's acting out of fear. It's the managing from a different place, and it's looking at what are the facts of the situation of where we are now, right? So the facts are we are 47% more productive when we are at home. So this is not a productivity issue. This is probably a trust issue. It's whether managers and leaders feel like they can trust their teams to get on with it, which is where we come back to culture. And what is the culture that you're building, and what behaviors are you encouraging, and are you talking about that? And also, I guess there's other benefits that are really clear. So actually we are more productive at home. It does bring a work-life balance. That's, you can't really deny that it helps
Mm.
people to juggle all the different responsibilities they have and things that they want to do outside of work. It reduces costs both for the employee in terms of commuting and for businesses in terms of office space. I think the more progressive organisations are shrinking their office space and rethinking how they use their offices, and it also gives us access to a wider talent pool. So there's a massive benefit. You don't have to just employ people that live within a 20-mile radius of your office anymore. Employ someone who lives miles away, and you might get
Mm.
a better person out of that recruitment. But the downside of this, and I think the pain points that people are feeling, is that communication and collaboration are hard. It takes a bit more thought. It's not the same as it was. We can't all just go in a meeting room together just on a whim and talk about it, or we can't just catch someone by the coffee machine and have a chat. And team building and building company culture is a bit harder when you're not all in one place. Also, there's less oversight. So I know a lot of people talk about, well, what do we do with junior members of the team, new people in the team? How do we mentor them and bring them on and help them to experience all the things that we would have experienced being in an office for most of our career? So these are the things that people are feeling as pain points, but they are absolutely not, not impossible to solve.
Yeah.
I'm an actual problem solver, so I'm like, right, there is a solution for all of this. I will not be victim, we're not coming up. So what are we going to do moving forwards? Um,
Obviously, there's a huge bunch of challenges out there with all of that. Again, to many people, that could be seen as a huge blocker and too much to take on, too much to handle.
yeah,
And you kind of look at that big long list of stuff and go, just where do I start? I mean, clearly, you've got the services and you're going to go out and you're going to work with customers around this, but just as a kind of teaser, or kind of just getting them over that barrier to kind of just push the start button and to have a think and to open their mind to this, can you give us some insights, give us some tips around, what some best practices, or just how do we move forward? How do we start? How do we try this and get on this journey?
So the main thing I want people to think about is we are in a new world, new expectations, new environment. So that means we need a new way of managing and leading our teams. So it's kind of a cultural shift of how can we do this differently. My top tips would be use the technology we have available. One of the things people talk about a lot about how it all, how it all panned out during COVID, and how it actually it worked for most organizations, because we did have the technology available. If it happened 10 years previous, we would have really struggled. But
Yeah.
we had Zoom, we had Teams, we had all the different stuff. It's just making the most of it. And as we kind of go back to, well, we can do whatever we want now, we've got no restrictions, don't forget that we've got that available to us. Make sure that you know all the functionality you've got in whatever software your company uses for communication and collaboration. Make the most of all of those different channels. And it might be that with your team, you want to use something like Zoom or Teams to have a virtual co-working session going for one afternoon a week, which is where you'd all dial into an online meeting like this. You'd kind of have it in the background. So you're all there, you can chat. It's
Mm.
like you're all in the room together, but you might choose a specific piece of work to do in that time. You might think, oh, I've got this really tricky spreadsheet. I'm going to work on that because I know I'll get to a bit that I don't know how to, I can't remember how to do pivot tables. I'll ask someone who's on this call, how do I do that? What's that formula? Oh, I know, Jeff, you've got a really great spreadsheet. How did you do this? Whatever it is, and be deliberate about that co-working time. So you're not booking in a call for that, but you're doing some work. You've got people there in the background helping you, and you can chat along. The other thing is whether you want to have like a teams chat session going through the week, and you have specific agreed points in the week where you will put a question in there, and you set the expectation with your team that people will engage with that, and you'll chat about what's going on in your week or what you did at the weekend. It's finding times to connect with each other as a team, or a wider team, whatever level you want to set that as. It's finding those connection points in the week, and just being a bit cleverer with the tech you've got available to you. And then the other thing I would say is what we're missing is clarity. So real clarity over what the office is for and what home working or remote working or coffee shop working is for. So we know that there's not many situations where people are fully remote and never see each other. There's always going to be times when we need to go in the office, and it's about building real value and purpose into those visits to the office. Use those visits as times to engage and motivate and do social things. It might be goal setting. It might be, we've got this new strategy, let's talk you through it and get some input and feedback. Or it might be literally, let's go out for a meal as a team and spend some social time together. I know a lot of offices that are downsizing, the office space they're left with is real social space. So it's meeting rooms and it's breakout spaces, and it's ask people to go in the office and then allow them to just join a Teams call with someone in a different part of the country or in different.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Because you can do that at home. Don't go in the office and then do what you could do at home. Go in the office for a specific purpose and at a kind of frequency that is agreed with your team for the needs of your team. And there is never going to be a one size fits all. All teams do different things, different roles, are in different parts of the country. But that's where you need the clarity. You need agreements with your team about what's going to work for you and what people need. And then the last one is document things. So along with clarity, document your expected behaviours for your team. And this is always going to help with building culture. It's all about behaviours. It's about the way we do things. And it's saying, right, as a team, this is what we want to achieve. This is our strategy. This is our purpose and our goals. And to achieve that, we want to see everyone in this team displaying these key behaviours. And things like that are really helpful for new and junior members of the team as well, because it gives them something like a framework to go on. They know what's expected of them. In terms of personal development as a manager, you can use that to help you develop people's skills. You can also use it as part of mentoring, coaching, bringing up those younger members of your team. And because I'm saying that because I know a lot of people have said, well, how do we manage junior members and how do we develop them? And I think having really clear expectations on behaviour is one of those. So that's my 3 tips. Use the technology, bring clarity over what the office is for, and document your behaviours.
So free consultancy right here on CresTV this morning. You've given away, thousands of dollars and pounds worth of insights in there. Clearly, customers are going to hopefully take this information on and go, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to try those 3 things, but from there onwards, how do they connect with you? How can we get you talking to these customers and helping them on this journey to this new nirvana that we're talking about this morning?
So I love working with clients on this stuff. So I absolutely come in, I work with clients on setting your purpose, setting your values, identifying those behaviours, and helping you to document all this, because I know that everyone's busy. So you might be listening to this going, this sounds amazing, but I have not got time. So that's where I come in. I can come in, I can do the workshops with your team, I can tease all of this stuff out of you, work out what it is we want and what it is you want to achieve, and document it all and help you come up with a plan to communicate that and role model that to your team. That's what I do. You can contact me by my website, which is rebeccacullum.co.uk, or look me up, Rebecca Cullum, on LinkedIn. I'm on there. Get in touch. I love chatting about this stuff.
It's also, again, we had a chat the other day, and again there was just some fascinating stuff that I found. We were saying about, finding that hour in the week to try and learn a new skill, and you were saying, like, oh, I don't have an hour. People are telling you can, if your boiler breaks, you'll find an hour. Again, the whole not doing teams in an office thing, I think is again,
Yeah.
there's some just great insights there. If you are watching this, go follow Rebecca on LinkedIn. She's got some great content she's putting out there. Go and check that out. And go and hook up and look at her website again. So some amazing insights, Rebecca. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. I'm sure we will get you back on in the future.
Thank you.
Very cool. And thank you all for joining us here on CresTV. I hope you liked that. As I say, amazing insights, and again, some great tips to get you started on this journey. There's so much confusion, and it does feel like such a huge barrier to try and get into. And again, a lot of people just shy away and go, I don't like change. We've always done it this way. That's what we should do. But that's not always the best way of doing things. Make sure you like, subscribe to the show. We do this every week. Where have you been? Tell your friends, and we will catch you on the next one.